We'll call our meeting to order. First item is invocation by Pastor Harold Eldworth on First Southern Baptist Church. And a pledge will be led by Councilmember Whiting.
Would you join me in prayer? Gracious Father, as we come into your presence this afternoon, I'm reminded of when King David first brought the ark, your dwelling place, into its home in Jerusalem for the very first time. He wrote a song, and everybody shouted out, and they sang, "Great is the Lord, his love endures forever." Father, we thank you that you choose to make your dwelling place among people still today, people who choose to love you. Father, we pray that your love would just permeate our community, that we might understand that love. Father, I thank you for the men and the women who are here tonight. I pray that your wisdom would rest upon them, that you would be with those who will share, who deliberate. Father, we pray that your will would be accomplished. We thank you for watching over our community, for keeping us safe even through the fires and the floods. And Father, we pray that you'd continue to do so. Father, we pray for those who are preparing to go back to school, teachers and students as well, in the next couple weeks. Father, we pray that you would give them grace, that you'd prepare teachers' hearts, prepare students' hearts. For our law enforcement and other first providers, Father, we pray that your hand of protection would be upon them as they serve our city so well. So, Father, we commit this evening to you. We pray that you would be in every aspect of this meeting tonight. For we pray these things in the name of Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
Please face the flag and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, next item is roll call. June?
Councilmember Grossman?
I'm here.
Councilmember Anderson?
Here.
Vice Mayor Nye?
Here.
Councilmember Mallory?
Here.
Councilmember Whiting?
Here.
Councilmember Rooney? Here. Mayor Skoog? Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you, June. Okay, proclamation, Child Awareness, or Support Awareness Month. June, you have it? You can read,
I do.
Read it for us.
Child Support Awareness Month, August 2017. Whereas the Prescott Valley, Arizona joins the nation in recognizing August as Child Support Awareness Month and reaffirms its commitment to strengthening Arizona's families by providing child support services to improve the economic stability and well-being of children. And whereas Child Support Awareness Month salutes the diligent working parents who spend time with their child and who make regular child support payments to safeguard their children's future. And whereas community partnerships serve children and families through a variety of programs and targeted resources, which help support Arizona's zonans by promoting awareness of needs and assistance to meet those needs, while encouraging individual responsibility and working toward greater self-sufficiency. And whereas a child who receives emotional and financial support is more likely to feel safe and secure and are better equipped with the courage to be their very best in life. And whereas strengthening individuals and families with an emphasis on fiscal responsibility promotes the safety and well-being of children, provides stability, improves the lives of children, provides opportunities for families to be able to enhance their children's future. And whereas an informed parent can help make the child support system work, and with the state and local and tribal child support programs, legislatures, and courts rallying to improve collaborative efforts for families, and whereas the Department of Economic Security, Division of Child Support Services, is robustly committed to putting Arizona's children first and to humbly serving Arizonans with excellence, respect, integrity, and kindness, as well as being an overall champion for economic growth and opportunity. Now, therefore, I, Harvey C. Skoog, Mayor of Prescott Valley, do hereby proclaim August 2017 as Child Support Awareness Month.
Thank you, June. Vice Mayor, any comments?
I found the remarks in here very poignant. When we have a lack of this support, our police department is the first one to know about it, almost always. It's so tragic. And the fact that we are involved in having this level of awareness will make a difference and shouldn't be taken lightly. And I thank you so very much for your understanding of the issue and all the hard work that goes into making sure a child is safe, both from the safety standpoint, medical standpoint, and that they have adequate meals and they have an education. That's what this is all about.
Now you can comment and introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tammy Clark, and I am the supervisor for Yavapai County Child Support Services. We are located here in Prescott Valley, 3262 Bob Drive, and basically our role is to assist any person who has custody of a child. Sorry about that. Let me get on this side here. Yeah.
Over
there. So we are here to help all parents, caretakers. A lot of times we have grandparents who are raising their grandchildren, and so we just want the public to know that we are here to support them. We don't represent any party individually. We represent the best interests of the children. So we're here to help and support our community in making sure our children have what they need. So thank you very much.
Any comments? Any one of you? Chief, no? Okay, do what? Move forward. Tammy, is it?
Tammy.
Good, we sure appreciate that. And thank you for your support. Okay, next we're going to have a very special announcement. In fact, two presentations. One is from PBEDF Mike Paredes. Mike, you're up.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. Oh. Can I go? Yeah? Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Mike Paredes, Director of Prescott Valley Economic Development Foundation. Yes, sir? Yeah. Wanted to take a couple of moments here to give you an update on our activities at the office and just give you some feedback on the types of companies that we're working with, and we're looking forward to working with a couple of them. And so just to give you some data, if you can be a little patient with me, I've developed an allergy up here for some reason. So I've been coughing for about 5 months. So if I'm coughing, I'm not contagious, I promise. So. So here at the office, we were going to take our plans for the next year between my staff and I, taking Prescott Valley to the next level in terms of marketing and exposure to the global audience. We have, with my board's permission, I've increased my presence in the Phoenix market, full understanding that is where a lot of the players and decision makers, a lot of the large development groups have their headquarters, their offices, and it is my job to be in front of them and to knock on their door and to present Prescott Valley and our opportunities and development opportunities to them. Lots of times they have their own research teams, but it's in my opinion that if I'm it's my job to be in front of them and to knock on their doors. And so I've increased my presence a couple, 3 times a week in the Phoenix area, meeting with those companies. Also increasing our marketing campaigns in the California market. Also our sites visits in California. Just to return there 2 weeks ago, I had 2 meetings in Orange County, and I had 2 meetings in the Los Angeles area, 2 of which were very successful, and I've already had 2 follow-up conference calls with them, and I've had also a second follow-up to my initial meeting of a good friend of mine that's driving up there currently right now and is meeting with them tomorrow on my behalf. And I might be driving up there this weekend also to meet with this company. And so, again, increasing not only the visibility, the marketing, but also the personal site one-on-one meetings with either the general managers. Most of the time they are the owners of these companies. Again, forming part of key stakeholder development groups in Phoenix is an important part as well. Increasing the network business solution groups, becoming part of those networks. Expanding our social media campaigns on our website. We've developed a PVDF YouTube channel. We're going to be uploading some videos and some marketing and promotional material up to that channel. And also tomorrow afternoon, half day, and full day Saturday. If you see a drone flying around town, it is Phoenix Drone Services that I contracted with. We will be doing a 3 to 5 minute promotional marketing video of Prescott Valley. We will be showcasing our industrial parks. We will be showcasing our retail activity. We will be showcasing the Prescott Valley Event Center, And I got permission as of this afternoon. I believe there's a gem show on Saturday, and we're going to fly it inside. And this Phoenix Drone company is completely licensed and has the proper insurance to do so. I'm not saying it's falling. I'm just saying it's covered. So we're very excited. I have mapped out everything that he will be. No, it's not this Saturday. It's next weekend. I'm sorry. Next Saturday is the gem show. So it's next Friday and Saturday. My apologies. I mapped out everything. This company will be flying up high and also down low. I want the video to showcase the activity up and down Glassford, up and down 69 as well. Crossroads, Glassford Hill Marketplace, industrial parks as of Big Sky. We got permission to do Stone Ridge. Also, I have one of their pros going to be doing some hits with the golf clubs, and so we're gonna do some really nice. Can you tell I'm not a golfer?
Not at all.
He will be at the driving range. There we go.
Is that on the golf course?
Yeah, I've never had patience for golf, Larry. I would play 3 holes. I said, that's enough. Okay, I'm going home. So we're very excited. So if you ever see these promotional marketing business drone videos, it's really awesome. And if you want an example of what we're getting, as they're called the Phoenix Drone Services, and they have some examples of the work they've done down in the valley. And I'm really, really excited to showcase what we have in a 3 to 5 minute video. I did not want it more than that because you lose audiences when it does that. So I wanted to showcase not only on our website, also on the town website, and also on the chamber website. That way, all in the same arena, and we're all part of the same team. Oh yeah, we purchased a new database too, and so all of our activity within PVEDF is tracked, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and so. We track every lead, we track every square footage, we track every conversation that we have of our clientele, whether the leads come from us, whether it comes from the state or other site selectors around the country. So That's a good thing as we're looking at 3, 5, 7 years down the line. Again, we're in our business development. As companies, we work with companies that are looking to locate into the area of express interest in relocating out of the state of which they are operating. And at times they have high operating costs. They have difficulties in human resources, which is, high stakes in smaller attraction to community. Excuse me, I lost my brain of thought. The high salaries at their states and minimum wage. We're looking at companies of 5 to 75 in manufacturing industries, and we continue working diligently on behalf of Prescott Valley. We've also, again, as expressed earlier, we are part of different organizations in the Phoenix Valley. These are some of the examples of we are members of, and I attend on a monthly and a biweekly, sometimes 2-3 times a month of these organizations. Sometimes they're breakfasts, sometimes they're lunch, but this gives us a foot into these organizations, which represents 100, 200, 300 other companies within the organization. So that's a strategy that we have implemented to get in front of other companies that might be interested in Prescott Valley. I wanted to give you an example. If you look at, can you see it on your screen? Oh no? Oh my! I am so sorry.
It's okay.
Wanted to give you an example of the project types that come in our office and have been inputted into our database. These are projects that over the past 2.5 years that I've been here have been inputted, and these are the results that have come out. As you can see, the large majority of the types of projects are a relocation or expansion of that company. The business types, large majority, 67% is a manufacturing, and 19% is business services. Business services, and it can be anything from a call center to financial banking type of institutions, those types of offices. A breakdown of the manufacturing sector, and I apologize. I completely apologize, and I can provide this presentation to you. And I really would like for you to see these numbers. I'm going to give you the breakdown of the manufacturing sector, and it gives you what types of companies within the manufacturing sector have expressed interest and I have met with personally, or that have been on the lead generation forefront. Building type. This is a key issue of mine, one that I've been working diligently with a couple of individuals and seeing what we can do with the existing inventory that we have in the area. For those companies that have expressed interest or we have developed leads, 42% are looking to build, 58% are looking at existing buildings. Of those building types, if it is existing, 56% are looking at leasing, and 44% are looking at purchasing, which are key numbers to know, because as we move forward, we'll know where to invest our time and our money and our efforts to support those types of needs or requirements. Power needs, again, just to give you an example, a lot of these companies are looking at three-phase power, which is very common in the manufacturing sector. I'm going to give you an example without being specific on the exact company, but I wanted to give you an example of a company that I worked with, local company. It's been here for many years, manufacturer, that I met with their international sales team in Dallas last year. Within that time, we've kept in communication. They do the manufacturing here locally. They hire about 100 and some individuals here in Prescott Valley. I was able to connect them with my international banking contacts because they were doing some expansion of their international sales divisions, and which is a good thing for locally. How it impacts the local plant, I will never know. But at the end, this is why I connected them with them, because I knew that from the banking connection that I made with them, they were able to expand their Latin. It's in Latin America. Their Latin America sales increasingly. So I connected them with 3 of the biggest financial institutions in this particular city, and they are in the process of deciding who they're going to go with and make this multi-million-dollar expansion there, which in my hopes will have a positive impact here because the manufacturing is here. Now, is there a direct or indirect positive effect? I cross my fingers. At the end of the day, the important thing is that the manufacturing is here. So I believe in my whatever, if there increased sales in Latin America would be a positive for us because the manufacturing is here. So again, I just wanted to give you an example of existing companies and how I'm working with them in a different facet on the side of, not on the marketing side, but on the retention side. One of the companies that I worked with for about a year, this was a PVDF lead out of Southern California. This individual will close escrow in a building, 7,200 square feet. He's bought 2 homes, one for his children and one for himself. 15, 20 jobs, and he's also becoming an investor. So I'll make it public within the next month or so once he closes escrow. Smaller company, 15, 20 jobs, but we make progress step by step. Again, this is our niche. This is our market, the 15, 20, 50 jobs companies. These are the types of companies that I shoot for and are very attracted to our company out of Southern California. And just one last thing. Last year we set our goal to increase our private investment, and we hit our goal, and we want to continue meeting our goals for next year. So our private investment goal for 2016-17 was $60,000, and we met that. And for next year, it's $15,000 more, $75,000. So what we want, our goal is to match up the public investment. So there's not that much of a discrepancy between the two. Any questions? I apologize. I will give you that presentation on paper ASAP, first thing tomorrow. Any questions, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Mike, as far as data and demographics, you mentioned your database, but how are you set? I know a lot of times there's information that they need from us. Do you have sufficient demographics, or are you working on gathering more? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate working with a town staff, Ben Hooper. I think he's still back there. I can see him. I can hear him chewing. We're working with an individual who's helping us gather that information because data is very important. And these companies normally have staff much smarter than I that all they do all day is numbers, and they do their homework. And so the better information we have up front for them, the better off we are. And so they've done it. Ben and the team has done an awesome job.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Anyone? Marty?
Yeah. First, I want to say that the other day when we had your quarterly breakfast, that was great. It was a great program. So thank you. It was great seeing all those people in the room. The other thing is, on occasion when I've gone into your office to look for you or whatever, just to stop in and get some information, you're not there, and Tracy goes, well, he's in California or he's in Phoenix or whatever. So that's a good thing. You know, the fact that you're out there, hitting the streets and generating the business that you're generating, and the numbers that you had up there on the screen are indicative of the amount of work you're doing and the possibilities that are coming to Prescott Valley. And like you said, you plant the seeds, and hopefully, the company where you give them a lead to an international banking corporation, when they start thinking expansion, they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay here and expand here, which is hopefully the hope of all of us. So keep up the good work, and thank you.
Oh, thank you, Councilman Grossman. Yeah, and there's a second company, and unfortunately that he has sold his business, or not sold his business, excuse me, sold the building of his business, has sold his house in Southern California, and all he's doing every day is in the and looking and in the building database for existing buildings here, because that's the next company I can make public. But it's that existing building space that I'm trying to work with, and that's going to be the next challenge. But challenges bring opportunities, and that's what I'm looking for. But thank you, Mr. Grossman.
Rick, comment? No? Anyone else? Mary? No comment?
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Mike, we appreciate that. Good job. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Okay, next we have another very special one. Arts and Culture Commission Service Recognition. Nancy Smith. Hey, come on up, Nancy. Bring your better half with you. You want to comment?
Oh, that's dangerous. The mayor just gave me the microphone.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to tamp down the emotions because this is sad for the town, and I want to explain why this is really sad for the town. Very few people know how much and how frequently and how hard Nancy Smith functioned behind the scenes to make things happen for arts and culture. For instance, she served on the committee for the State Centennial Gala, and all of you were there. If you'd have looked up in the rafters and seen all of the pennants and all the decorations, she made every single one of them. There are so many instances of her stepping up to the plate and going above and beyond. And I could just weep knowing that I don't have her to say, Nancy, I don't know what to do. Do you have an idea? Or, Nancy, will you go with this person to this event and bring back some ideas? Nancy gave all her talents. She had her heart in it. And she made a major difference in this community where arts and culture is concerned. And she won't be replaced. Someone will come in and fill that seat. But Nancy will always be the champion of arts and culture for our community. And when her life stabilizes, I'm going to try to win her back. She is living in Chicago most of the time now, but they do have plans, she and her husband Joel back there, to return full-time here, and then I'm just going to be nagging the heck out of her.
I'm not sure what impact you're having on Chicago, Nancy. They're going bankrupt. Anyway, we have an appreciation award presented to Nancy Smith in appreciation for dedicated service on the Arts and Cultures Commission, February 2007 through June 2017. Nancy, thank you so much for your service. And
now it's my turn to finally say thank you. A number of years ago when we first moved here to Prescott Valley, and my husband and I were in the car on the way over here to sign up for our water and sewer stuff, I said, well, let's go find the Quonset hut that this town operates out of, because I was sure there wasn't much here. And then we pulled into the parking lot, and I saw this magnificent contemporary building that was so forward-looking. And I went, And then we walked toward the building, and I saw some sculptures on the grounds. And we walked inside, and I saw a room dedicated to Solon Borglum sculptures. I went, I think there's more to this town than I think there is. So I met Laura Lee Nye, and I was telling her I was really kind of impressed. She said, well, you need to learn more about this town. You need to go to the Citizens Academy. So I went to the Citizens Academy, and there I got to meet Ryan Judy and Larry Tarkowski and various department heads, and learned that not only were there wonderful people working for this town, but they encourage everybody to come and volunteer and be part of this town, all citizens. Well, of course, my background in arts, and I knew right where I wanted to go was to the Arts and Culture Commission, and so I applied and have been there. And we've been through a lot. We've seen expansion. We tightened our belts and held our breath through the economic downturn, and then things began to turn around, and we've seen the expansion and creation of Theater on the Green and the family movie nights and so many other things that are yet to come. So I appreciate that. All this time, also at the time I came in, Brian Whitty was new here, so we were kind of pioneers together through arts and culture. And I want to thank Kathy Wise and Mary Lou Arnold and Hope Hooper, who have been more than helpful every time we needed help on the commission. And I want to thank the council, every single one of you, who've been so much to us and have backed us and supported us and have given us guidance when we've needed it. So I'm not here now. But by February 1st, I will be settled. We will both be settled here in Prescott Valley permanently. And you ain't going to have to chase me, because I'm going to be here finding someplace to serve this remarkable town again, because what would life be like without being a part of Prescott Valley? Thank you.
Good. We want you back, okay? So thank you, Nancy. Okay, next item is comments, communications. Anyone on the council? Marty?
Of course, I will have something. Okay, just another reminder that August 19th, we have a fundraiser for the Yavapai Family Advocacy Center. The name of the event is Hope Still Floats. The theme is Saturday in the Park, like the Chicago song. We're going to have all kinds of fun and games. If you need tickets or more information, you could call the Yavapai Family Advocacy Center. They're located on Bob Drive. Or you could go into Smart Girls and speak to Jamie, who's the owner and manager there. Or you could go up to the restaurant at the golf course on Stone Ridge and speak to Janice. She's also one of the committee chairs and on the committee and serves with me. I would also ask you to save the date, September 23rd. The Prescott Valley Police Foundation is having their murder mystery night for that, and that's going to be another fun event. Okay, and last thing is, last Monday, I was invited by the chamber to help them give out the welcome packets to all the new school teachers in the Humboldt Unified School District. And I believe there were 38 new teachers for this year, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because it means there's turnover, which isn't good, but it also means we have 38 fresh new minds to come in and teach our children. So that was a fun event, and I'm excited for the school year with some of the things that our superintendent and school board have coming forward with us. So thank you.
Good. Any other comments, communications, anyone? If not, then we go on to the matters listed under consent agenda. These are considered to be routine by the town council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless discussion is desired on a specific item, and that would be considered separately for discussion and action. We'll go on to approving the July 13th council meetings, that's the minutes of the council meeting, approving the purchase of a 2017 Chevrolet Silverado in the amount of $22,870.06 for community development, approving the fiscal year 2017-18 agreement with Arizona Crisis Team Incorporated, approving the fiscal year 2017-18 agreement with Prevent Child Abuse, approving the purchase of police ammunition from San Diego Police Department or Police Equipment Company in the amount of $32,000, utilizing the state contract ADS PO 14067867, approving the purchase of a police uniform bulletproof vest in the amount of $17,086.38 on the Arizona contract, approving the purchase of police mobile data unit in the amount of $38,985.32. Approving the purchase of 2 police vehicles in the amount of $107,392. Approving the police department to make application for a $410,533.30 victim assistance grant through 2018, 19, and 20 Arizona Department of Public Safety Victims of Crime Act. And approve the purchase of a Cisco HyperFlex system through information technology. Capital funding the amount of $77,596.57. Accepting a donation by warranty deed from Patricia A. Neal for lot 1441, Unit 4, 4768 North Stewart Road, and approving the Library Service Technology Act, LSTA, submittal for grant application for programming in a box, and M is approving Library Service and Technology Act, LSTA, submittal other than of the grant application for Creative Aging Program. Laura, I know you have a comment.
You want to finish the consent agenda?
So, there's more on this side, yeah. Sorry about that. Approving the purchase of a 2018 Ford F-150 in the amount of $30,908.14 for executive management. Approving department reports. Approving the council investment report. Approving the monthly financial report. And approving accounts payable. Now you can speak, Laura.
I don't want to pull anything from the agenda, but I want to make some remarks about items L and M. Frequently in our consent agenda, there is gems, absolute gems hidden in there that I don't think get enough attention. For instance, the library is getting grants for something I think are remarkable. They are going to be getting boxes that will include supplies that will help fulfill programming ideas for different ages. Particularly in our youth, they can do coding, robots, arts and culture, outdoors, etc., etc. That is absolutely remarkable. So then they didn't forget us gray hairs. AM is all about another program. This is about a movement about providing opportunities for meaningful creative expression through visual and performing art workshops, and on and on and on. And I just want our citizens to understand the high value that the employees in our library provide for this community. They don't ignore any age group. And I'm so proud to sit in this building and be part of the library. Thank you for giving me the time, Mary.
Good. Any other comments? Amen. Amen. Thanks, Ted. Okay. Anyone want to pull on that, or do you want to move to approve it as a whole?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda by electronic vote.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Second, anyone?
Mayor, I'll second that.
Okay, with a motion and a second, would you set the vote, June?
Mm-hmm.
No, it might isn't coming up there, June.
And Ted didn't pay me a thing.
And how do you wish to vote, Mayor?
I'm going to vote yes on it.
Thank you.
How about you, Mary?
And that passes, Mayor.
Thank you. That one passes. We'll move on to number 9, new business for review, comment, and or possible action. Public hearing for ZOA 17-002, revised outdoor requirements. Richard?
Mayor, Council, you're looking at an amendment to the town code relative to streetscape lighting that is placed in public rights-of-way in downtown. Many years ago, as we discussed during the work study, there was an effort put forth to make sure we coordinated all the lights so they all look the same in the public rights-of-way. Larry was part of that process, and they elected to choose a product made by a company called Beta. It's a Beta light. They are all through Section 14, the downtown, and they've consistently been placed. However, they're no longer available. So while we have a stockpile of them necessary to finish some of the projects that are ongoing, we're looking to different resource and also looking to a more efficient light source, LED, as opposed to the current light sources. This was discussed by you in work study. We're directed to prepare the ordinance. The ordinance was prepared. We went back to the Planning and Zoning Commission, told the same story. They recommended earlier this month that this be passed forward to you with their recommendation for approval. This has been noticed, advertised, and we've heard nothing from the public. One value, obviously, that is derived from that new technology is the energy savings that goes along with LED lights. The other aspect of this that is probably worthwhile is we're not going to have to do this ever again, change a standard, because now there's an administrative process that the manager can implement to change a light standard if it looks similar to that. I know that Larry doesn't see very well, but he's got very good staff that will help him determine if it looks something like the Bega fixture. After the meeting, or excuse me, after the public hearing, sir, then you'll be given an opportunity to read for the first time the ordinance, and I would respond to any questions that you may have at your direction.
Questions, anyone?
A quick thing every citizen will want to know is how does it affect our dark sky ordinance?
It will not affect the dark sky ordinance because these lights have to be shielded down just like any other light in the town of Prescott Valley, so there will be no effect on the dark sky.
Good. Other questions? Mike?
Yeah, I was just curious. I noticed in Stone Ridge along the bridge there that some have been replaced LED. Is that a Stone Ridge or is that a town change out of those lights? Just curious.
Those ornamental lights that are on the bridge at Stone Ridge, those are taken care of by the HOA.
Okay. Yeah. I did notice they've changed them out to LED, so I think they're
could be because
progressing as well.
Could be because you drive that at night.
We have been put on notice by APS. We have a contract with Arizona Public Service for the maintenance of all of our street lights. And with that maintenance, we have now been informed that APS will only be swapping out to LED lights as existing high-pressure sodium lights or mercury vapor lights go ahead and fail. That's what we'll be evolving to.
Jody, you got a comment, question? No? Anyone else? Richard, thank you. Anyone from the public here to comment? It's a public hearing. If there is no further comment, then I would declare a public hearing closed. We'll move on to B, consideration of reading ordinance number 832 by title only on two separate occasions, then place the same on final passage for ZOA 17-002, revised outdoor lighting requirements. Anybody else want to make any comment or a motion?
Motion to read ordinance number 823 by title only on two separate occasions, then place the same on final passage by electronic vote.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second the vote.
Okay.
Motion.
June, we have a motion and a second. Would you set the vote?
And that passes, Mayor.
Thank you, June. Okay, we move on to C, consideration of authorizing the mayor to approve the agreement. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Read the ordinance first. Yeah.
Ordinance number 832, an ordinance of the mayor and common council of the town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, amending Article 13-26A, outdoor lighting requirements in Chapter 13 zoning of the town code, updating outdoor lighting requirements for Section 14, town center, and adding standards for light emitting diode LED lighting, providing that all other chapters, articles, and sections of the town code not herein amended shall remain in full force and effect providing that if any provision of this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining provisions shall not be affected, but shall continue in full force and effect, and providing that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you, June. Okay, we're going to see now consideration of authorizing the mayor to approve the agreement with Yavapai Humane Society for Animal Control Shelter Services. Chief?
Evening, Mayor, Council, staff. Tonight for your consideration is approval of a 3-year contract with the Yavapai Humane Society to provide shelter services. So I'd just like to provide a little bit of background and acknowledge some people that were involved in putting this together. Many years ago, the town chose to take on the work of providing animal control when we decided to start charging and doing our own licensing services. And so as a result, state law requires us then to provide a shelter for dogs that are strays in the community, so that if a community member were to pick up a dog at Yavapai and Robert, they would have somewhere to take it where that dog would be cared for until it's hopefully released back to its owner or otherwise. In addition to that, the shelter is also provided so that we can, as an animal control service, impound animals. And those animals are generally dogs. We impound dogs because they're loose. We impound dogs because sometimes they've bit someone. And if the dog is owned, then the dog has to be kept for 5 days. If there's no evidence that the dog is owned, then the dog has to be held for 3 days. And if it's a bite dog or animal, because every now and then we impound some pretty strange animals for biting people, the bite animal is held for 10 days. So for many, many years, we have contracted with the Humane Society on an annual basis to provide those services. I'm happy to say that the contract that you're going to consider is for 3 years, and I think that's a very good thing. It gives the Humane Society an opportunity to normalize under the leadership of Jocelyn Bouchard, who's here tonight and will speak right after me. It also gives us an opportunity to look at some figures and statistics that we think will give us a good opportunity to evaluate the exact costs of providing those services, again, under Jocelyn's leadership. One other thing I want to highlight, there is a fiscal impact to the town, but as a result of negotiations and collaboration with the Humane Society, we're going to be saving about $27,000 over the next 3 years. So I think that's a very good accomplishment. So I will also want to acknowledge James Reisinger. James is our new animal control supervisor. He comes to us with a lot of experience with the city of Phoenix. He was a police officer. He worked in animal control for Maricopa County. And then again, for the city of Phoenix, he worked in transportation. So he did a lot of the work to make this happen. If you have any questions of me, I can answer them, or I can turn it over to Jocelyn.
Mary, question?
You know, going back to the fact that we are saving, I was looking at the contract and I see the decrease on the amount and what it's costing, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, you know, and the partnership that we have with the Humane Society, and the fact that the town is saving money is always a very good thing.
I agree.
I appreciate the hard work you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Other questions, anyone?
Okay.
Yeah, I introduce James. You're up.
I would like to hear from you.
I don't think you've had the chance to speak to us before, so welcome.
No, thank you, Mayor and council members. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been a joy in the short time that I've been here to be a part of the town. My family have been wanting to look into small town, and the doors opened up here, and it's been a great thing, enjoying. And right out of the gate, I've gotten to work with the Humane Society and work with this contract, and it's been it's exciting for us to be a part of that and working with a team that is so opening, and the community is so opening. So it's been exciting. So thank you very much.
Good. Any questions of James? Thank you so much.
As he said, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
We're glad you like us.
I do.
Okay, with that, if there's no more questions.
We need to.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're next. Introduce yourself.
Last but not least, right? So my name's Jocelyn Bouchard. I am the Executive Director of Yavapai Humane Society. I just wanted to let you know how honored we are and how much we value this partnership as well with Prescott Valley. We were thrilled to be able to have successful negotiation of this contract and bring the price down for you. There's 4 pieces of the partnership that we bring that I kind of wanted to focus in on, because we take that very seriously, this partnership, and want it to be as positive as possible. So the first one, of course, is the care of the animals themselves. So you can rest assured that we have professional, compassionate staff caring for animals. We also have a really great live release rate. So we work really hard to find positive outcomes for the animals in our care. And that's a benefit to you all as well, to be able to have that kind of partnership. Our live release rate is 94.7% year to date, which is really huge considering we receive animals in all kinds of conditions. So we receive severely ill and injured and geriatric animals, and also the bite animals that may or may not be safe to be re-released. So we work really hard at that. The second piece is customer service. And I know, because I attended the Citizens Academy, I know that's a mantra for Prescott Valley as well, and we're thrilled to be part of that. We pride ourselves on customer service as well. Animals and people are intertwined, so we have to be, in order to be effective with animals, we have to be effective with people. So we work really hard at that. The third piece is keeping costs down. We want to keep costs down for ourselves as well as for you. So some key things that we've done with that is we changed the feeding program, and that saved us a significant amount of money. I think we saved about $12,000 on that by changing feeding programs. We're also trying to be more efficient. And, in terms of the partnership specifically, we're going to try to get animals home as quickly as possible. So Chief mentioned the hold time, but our goal is to get animals home quickly. So right now we're always referencing other websites or Facebook pages to connect up lost and found pets. But we are, in the next week or two, we're going to be launching on our own website. We'll post pictures of every stray animal at the shelter, so people can go look and see if their pet's there. Cool. We're also going to have a page where people can post their own lost pets. So hopefully that will help get animals home sooner, and that's going to have a cost benefit for all of us. Not to mention happier people, happier pets, win-win-win. And then lastly, and what we're going to be striving to do through this next 3 years is really work on our reporting abilities. So one of the questions that came up is how long are animals staying in that building? And right now, we're working on getting our numbers into our software in real time so that we can adequately pull those reports. And then hopefully also work on speeding that process up. So again, we save everybody money, and we have very accurate, detailed reporting, so you all have what you need to know what the costs are of the partnership. So again, in closing, we're just really proud and honored to have this partnership, and hopefully it lasts long, long, long into the future.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Questions? Mary, did you have a question? Mike?
I just love the idea, the whole idea that you just came with on the way you can go on there and find to see if your pet's there, or to actually post it to your and be able to get such more quick communication.
Yes.
On that. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Great job. That's great. I love that.
Mike?
Yeah, I just had a couple questions. One was, are you still a no-kill shelter? Because I know that was something that was promoted in the past.
Yeah, great question. And actually what we said, it's a no-kill ethic. So because we are what's known as open admission, sorry, these are kind of industry terms, but open admission meaning we take all animals, regardless of their health, regardless of their temperament. We will never be 100% and I think part of the problem is, what does no kill mean? So in the industry, what it means is we don't euthanize healthy or treatable pets. So yes, we are no kill. To the public, I think they think that means we don't euthanize any animals. So, you know, in the interest of full disclosure, if an animal is not able to be made comfortable, because we really go above and beyond medically for a lot of the animals that come to us. So that word treatable is a little bit subjective. For us, it means if they don't have quality of life and we can't give them quality of life, that's going to be a euthanasia decision. And the only other circumstance we euthanize is in the case of a really dangerous animal. So multiple bites or significant bite history. A lot of times we get that feedback from the officers, too, that bring the animals in. So.
Well, I do like to see the 3-year agreement. I think in the past we incurred some unanticipated increases, and I know that you're relatively new there, and we look forward to your leadership and management and your cost reduction and efficiency measures. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jody?
Thank you, Mayor. Jocelyn, I so appreciate you being here this evening and just even having this type of service available to us to outsource it. And that's something that our town does.
Right.
We realize that sometimes it's not always important to offer every service. And this is a classic example that works really well. And so I want to highlight that partnership. These are important things that make us efficient and conservative. And we're seeing that with you and with your contract today. What you're doing is wonderful. It's, people here love their pets.
Yes.
It's just how it is. And we thank you for the service that you offer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's our honor.
Any other comments, questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And keep up the good work. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we have had a long relationship with the society.
Great.
So it's good to see you. And James, good to see you. Appreciate your day. Okay, if there's no other questions, comments, anybody have a motion or a promotion or a demotion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Motion to authorize the mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor, to approve the agreement with the Yavapai Humane Society for animal shelter services by electronic vote.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you set the vote, June?
That passes, Mayor.
That is agreed on. Thank you so much. Okay, we go on to number D. Consideration authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2009 approving FDP 17005 for Dorn Homes at Quailwood Meadows. Richard.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Dorn Homes is doing just dandy at Quailwood. They're building houses like crazy. I brought this illustration because it's showing that they're moving into what I think is the center or jewel of that development, which is right along the golf course. As always, they'd like to showcase their product, so they're putting effort into building a model home complex. It'll be very similar to others throughout the town. Use 3 lots, 2 model homes, 1 parking lot, kind of a template that we've seen over and over and over, and we hope that they're going to be wildly successful at this location. With that, I'd respond to any questions you may have.
Questions, anyone?
Nope.
No questions?
This is a win-win.
It's a win. Laura says it's win-win. Okay. Motion, anyone?
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to make a motion
Mike, go ahead.
to authorize the mayor, in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2009 approving FDP 17-005 for Dorn Homes at Quailwood Meadows.
Second.
I'll second that,
Okay,
Mayor.
with a motion and a second. Will you set the vote, June?
And that passes, Mayor.
Thank you, June. Okay, we move on to number E. Consideration of authorizing the mayor to approve amendment number 1 to the 2014 Infrastructure Improvement Plan. Ryan, you're going to do it.
Mayor, Council, it's a pleasure to be with you once again. Back in 2014, I believe most of you were here except the rookie on the end here, Councilmember Rooney. We went through a pretty lengthy process to revise our development impact fee statute. That was based on a complete rewrite of the state statute. In fact, our ordinance went from about 5 pages to nearly 40 pages because of all the information and requirements that the state put into this plan. Yes, thank you, the state. Some of the things that we were required to do as part of that process was to adopt a land use assumption document and an infrastructure improvement plan, otherwise known as the IIP. Now, the IIP is essentially a 10-year capital plan. But unfortunately, the state also said that if you don't identify a project in your IIP, you can't spend development impact fee monies on that project. Fortunately, the state also gave us a process where we can amend that IIP, and we're to the point now, it's been 3 years, where we took a look at the projects that we had budgeted, the ones that are on the horizon, the ones that we were spending money on, and we felt it was time to do an amendment to that IIP. The requirements say you need to keep your expenditures within 5% of what you had projected. Otherwise, you have to go through a more lengthy process with public hearings and a separate adoption process. So what we did was we looked at the projects with each of the department heads that were impacted, and we juggled some of those projects. On the street side, what we did, you see the big project under construction now at Glassford Hill and Long Look. That project was initially budgeted at about $250,000. Well, we're spending around $3 million on that project because we expanded the scope. It wasn't just a signal change. We widened it, we lengthened it. In addition, the county wanted to partner with the town to improve Sunset Lane. That was not in our original IAP. So we added that project as well. But to balance the scales, we had to remove something else. So we removed 2 lakeshore projects. We identified those because we have a separate funding source for those projects. We have a third sales tax that's dedicated to Robert, Navajo, Lakeshore. So we figured that we could plan for those projects with a separate funding source. On the police side, the building expansion is currently budgeted at $4 million. I believe it was 3.2 in the study. So to balance that out, we reduced the number of police cars we have purchased using development impact fees. Doesn't mean we can't buy more cars with other sources, but we had to, again, reduce the expenditures in some capacity. On the park side, something we didn't envision 3 years ago was a new park in Granville, which is currently under design and will be built by the developer. It won't be a direct expenditure by the town, but he will build it, receive credits for it per the development agreement that was approved long ago. So to balance that scale, we reduced the number of acres of the future Agua Fria Park. So those are the major changes that we went through, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions, anyone? Mike?
Yeah, I'm just confused, but I'm always confused. So we have an opportunity to make these amendment changes how often?
We can do it as often as we need to.
All right.
And it's quite possible we'll be back here a year from now
Right.
wanting to change something again.
Okay.
But it's important we do it because a year from now, Bill Copey will go through another audit of our impact fees. And we'll want to make sure the auditors are aware that we revised our IEP so they don't ding us for any shortcomings there.
Barry, you got a comment?
Yeah, Ryan did not go into the full detail as to why we have to go through this exercise. The state legislature was being lobbied very intently by the Home Builders Association, which was attempting to do away with development impact fees entirely. And so when they discovered that they didn't have the ability to do away with development impact fees, they then went through an exercise to put forth a piece of legislation to make it very difficult to collect them and to allow communities like ourselves who have been told by our voters, we want new growth to pay for itself. Well, the Home Builders Association chose to argue that point, and so when they when they were unable to eliminate development impact fees, they made it very difficult. And so that's why we're going through exercises like this where when development impact fees were put in place, none of these hoops were there. Okay, now we have to jump through hoops. A number of communities elected to eliminate development impact fees because they thought the burden was too onerous. We took to heart what the citizens said, which is do what you can to make growth pay for growth. And so, like trained ponies, we will jump through the hoops to continue to collect DIFs.
Good. Thank you, Larry. Mary?
Yeah, so going back into what we go by, which is our general plan, and we do make plans. And it's good to make plans. And plans do change because we're always having different things that occur. And we do the best we can with the idea and going forward. But, you know, these are things that happen, and we'll make good with these, and we'll stay on course with the general plan and what it is the vision of the citizens want it. So appreciate your work, and it'll all be fine.
Laura?
Since I've sat at this seat so long, I've watched all the machinations that we've had to go through that come to us from in the valley. And the point I want to make is I'm so proud of the talented staff that we have here that are not intimidated by the tactics that are rained down on us, or the terms I'm going to use. I'm weary with it and annoyed with it, and I'm really proud of all you staff. So I want to publicly comment and thank you, because we don't quake, we do.
And one thing Larry didn't mention is the home builders actually sued the town of Prescott Valley and the city of Prescott, and we won. Yes. And that's when they went to the legislature to try to change the statute.
I think what Laura was said, it's not retreat, it's advance. Any other comments, questions? Ryan, good job. Motion, anybody?
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to make a motion.
Yeah, we're ready, Mike.
Okay. Motion to authorize the mayor to approve Amendment 1 to the 2014 Infrastructure Improvement Plan.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you set the vote? June?
And that passes, Mayor.
Thank you. Go for it, Mike, right? Okay, next we go consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign a reservation of funding and funding agreement with the Arizona Department of Housing, accepting a $201,054.28 in community development block grant from fiscal year 2016 state special project housing or funding round. Ryan?
Mayor, Council, this is a good news, bad news, good news item. The good news is we received approval for our grant request to construct a sidewalk on Long Look between the improvements you see now with the construction project and Viewpoint Drive, so that'll provide some connectivity with the sidewalk. The bad news is they did not fund our full request of $300,000. They only gave us $201,000. Good news is, after speaking with the engineer, Norm and Gordon, they believe that we can do some tweaks to the design, still provide the essential components of that project, and bring it in within that project amount of $350,000 instead of $450,000. So with your approval, we would like to move forward with that project.
Questions, anyone?
More proof of talented staff.
Other comments, questions, anyone?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Motion to authorize the mayor in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign a reservation of funding and finding agreement with the Arizona Department of Housing, accepting $201,054 in that interesting 28 cents in community development block grant funding by FY 2016 state special project funding round by electronic vote.
I'll second that.
We have the motion and a second. Would you set the vote, June?
And that passes, Mayor.
Go for it, Ryan.
Great. Timing-wise, we'll probably try and do the actual improvements next summer. I think that's the best time to do that. It's a busy road when school is in session, so we can time the project between design and bidding. We can actually start construction when school is out. So
I'm glad to hear you're not going to add any more trauma to that area.
Not for a little while.
I think we're ready for that one, Ryan.
Ryan, would you like to brag about your CDBG project right across the street that's wrapping up right now and will be done in time for school opening?
Yes, Lake Valley is finishing now. The only really thing they have left are street lights. So they've already put in the bases for it. They'll come in one day, they'll prop the lights up, and wire them, but that project is essentially done. They've paved, the sidewalk is in, they've striped it, so it's encouraging to see that done. And the Boys and Girls Club project is also moving forward. That design is underway. We hope to be under bid for that within the next 2 months or so. So some exciting projects that are coming to pass.
Mary?
Bravo.
I'm excited about all the improvements on the roads and done a fabulous job. Just everybody has done a fabulous job, and I know the community is going to really, really appreciate it. And so thank you. It's been hard work and very successful.
Other comments? Keep them happening, Ryan. Okay, we went on to G, consideration of accepting 2 USDA rural business development grants totaling $12,000. Ben?
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Before you tonight is a request for Council approval to accept 2 grants for the United States Department of Agriculture's Office of Rural Development, totaling $12,000. Just today, I received confirmation from the USDA that pending Council approval and acceptance, the federal funds have been obligated to the town of Prescott Valley. This means that no changes in the federal budget or within federal agencies will affect our ability to collect the grants if you vote to accept them tonight. So the first grant is for $3,000 and would be used to design, host, and manage a standalone economic development website with its own URL that would be tailored to the audience that I deal with as it pertains to retail and commercial business attraction. So specifically brokers, retail real estate executives, site selectors, contractors, and developers. Today, websites usually act as the first introduction to a community. Websites are relatively cheap to maintain and are available on demand 24/7 from desktop and mobile devices. As it pertains to retail and commercial business attraction, the aforementioned audiences many times begin their evaluation of a community using information taken from their website. So if a website is difficult to navigate or does not have the information that they're looking for, it is not uncommon for users to just dismiss it in a community entirely, many times without the community ever even knowing that they were being considered for a new location for new development. Countless studies have shown that if users of any website are unable to find the information they need within 3 clicks, that's the attention span of today, is 3 clicks, they are unlikely to continue their search. So a separate URL will allow users of a potential new town economic development page to access it directly, but will also allow them the opportunity to connect to it through our traditional full town website. The data presented on the website will be at their fingertips and will be continually updated by myself so as not to incur long-term costs associated with a new website. A separate URL will also allow for the use of Google Analytics. Among many other powerful tools that Google Analytics provides, it will help to track exactly who is visiting the website and what areas of the website are viewed the most. So this will help greatly with targeted marketing, as well as to guide myself in the placement of data on the website to ensure maximum exposure. The second grant is for $9,000 and would support a gap analysis and trade area delineation market study. So this market study would define our primary and secondary trade areas. It would estimate current and future consumer demand, analyze existing and future competition, and estimate the amount of unmet demand in both the primary and secondary trade areas. So the end result is a report that would give us a third-party, data-driven perspective of what types of retailers are underserved in our primary and secondary trade areas. So this would allow me to target marketing efforts to retailers and developers with significantly more teeth to my assertions that a certain type of retailer or a certain type of development would be successful here in Prescott Valley. And because that data would be sourced from a well-known third party, that's kind of what gives it a little more teeth. So furthermore, this report will give us insight into where people come from to shop in Prescott Valley. This is especially important as one of the guiding factors in a retailer's site selection decision is the number of people that regularly shop within a community or within the wider trade area. So being a smaller rural market, Sometimes it's difficult to be noticed, or for that matter, even be taken seriously by retailers and developers that generally are favoring the larger, more densely populated markets. So having reliable third-party data gives us a higher level of credibility while I'm working to attract new retail and commercial businesses to Prescott Valley. And it would be my pleasure to answer any questions you have.
Questions? Mary?
I don't have a question. I have to say this because when you said the 3 clicks, I mean, I'm feeling old because I come from a time when we would have a phone that dialed and you did your walking through the yellow pages, and that was a lot longer than 3 clicks. So it's just kind of interesting to go from there to here and to listen to all this. But I'm excited about the grant. You did a great job on that, so thank you.
Good, thank you. Other question, Marty?
Yeah, I just want to say that when I was reading through the RFCA, first regarding the website, I was totally impressed by the fact that we're going to have a website that's going to be market specific, and they're not going to have to go through the regular website to find and dig for this information. It's going to be readily available, and I'm sure it's going to have all the proper bells and whistles so they could find the exact information that they want. And regarding the second grant, where you're going to have all this great information on who is shopping here, who's coming here, from my experience from years before I was with the post office that I was in retail, I know that when someone's looking for a new location, that they do click, they literally put somebody on the highway and they click how many cars pass by. So this information that you're going to be giving them is basically that information where they know who's shopping here, how many people are coming here, and it's going to be a huge benefit to the town, the community, and anybody looking to relocate. And as Mike Paredes said earlier, that he's working with you, I think this is going to be great information for him to utilize also, and for him to be able to direct people and get this information so they say, this is the market that it's not just Prescott Valley, Dewey Humboldt. We have people from Cottonwood, Clarkdale, Flagstaff, Sedona, whatever, coming to this community to purchase these kinds of items because they're not available elsewhere. And if you add to this market in in this community, it'll be helpful. So keep up the great work. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Good. Laura?
Everything that's been said, ditto. But we're not really rural anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is an opportunity to clarify that. And I think our demographics have not been understood for a very long time, or misinterpreted or whatever. So I know that you're aware of all of that, and I'm hoping this and this amount of data will give an accurate image of what we really are here. We're a mix. We're no longer just rural. And that has to be a big advantage for you, and thank you for the hard work.
Other comments, anyone? Mike?
Well, I'd like to make a
Jody,
motion unless we have other comments here.
Okay. I make a motion to accept 2 USDA Rural Business Development grants totaling $12,000.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, with a motion and a second. June, would you set the vote?
We've got a little lag here.
Haven't mine lost it. Mine is not working.
There it goes. It was a little
there
lag
it
there.
comes.
Okay, and that passes, Mayor.
Thank you, June. Okay, we go on to H, consideration of adopting a notice of intention to make proposed revisions to town water and wastewater rates, fees, and charges. Now, we had a good discussion on that. Anything to add to it, Bill?
Yeah, so just a few comments, Mayor. For your consideration tonight is to give us, basically staff, the authority to go ahead and go through the process of raising rates, primarily just the town water rates. Based on the discussion that Mark presented to you last week, we're proposing a 4% increase to our water tiered rates structure. With your approval tonight, There are 2 reports that I have to file, one with the town clerk's office, one with Larry's office. They're included in your packet. It's the water and sewer report, and it's also the one that's called Report of Proposal to Revise Certain Water, Wastewater Rates, Fees, and Charges. It will also be posted on our town website, so the information will be out there. One of the other items for your consideration tonight is to approve a public hearing date of September 28th. Basically, it's 2 months from tonight. We are required to give a 2-month notice before we start increasing any utility rates. At that time, after the public hearing, another notice or another formal action item will come before you that will basically actually approve the rates. Once or if approved, they will go into effect November 1st. Last time we increased rates were back in 2015, so the water rates haven't been increased for over 2 years. And again, that's kind of the purpose for that water and sewer report, so we look at it every year. The last item is that we will be putting this information in a town newsletter so that everybody in Prescott Valley will be notified of the increase, and it will also be published in the newspaper a couple times before the public hearing. So everyone should be well aware that we have an intent here to increase our utility rates. So with that, I'll answer any questions that either the council or mayor might have.
Laura?
It's obvious that we never like to increase rates. Number one, we have to pay them too. But I want to call attention to the most important thing that you've come before us with, as charges must be revised in order for the town utility systems to remain viable. And you provided all that proof. We know that's a fact. So we have to do the right thing and make sure that when our citizens turn the faucets on, water comes out, and that the other utilities function as they should. That can only happen if everything is maintained to the highest peak. And so for me, that's the beginning, end, and middle of all of this. It's just simply we must do it.
Yes, thank you.
Any other comments? Bill, I noticed that out of the 14 municipalities, our rates will either be at midpoint or below midpoint, so that's encouraging.
Yes, and we're going to go ahead and update that, and we actually think that some of the ones that might be below us actually have increased their rates since then. So when we come back, and unfortunately for the public hearing, I probably will have a PowerPoint presentation. I know it's Councilmember Anderson's favorite part of the discussion, but I will probably revise that graph and show you really the other cities and where we stand as it relates to them. But we are in the lower third of that group that we have looked into, and actually, if we looked at some of the other ones, more in the rural communities, we would probably be even lower than them too.
Good. Other comments, questions? Mike?
Yeah, I just want to mention that requested the overheads that were presented last week. If we could get those, I don't think they've been
sure.
sent.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll send those
Well,
out
it's
tomorrow.
okay. Yeah, just want to remind you. And I think it's an important resource, scarce resource, and I think we need to pay for what we provide to the community. And I think the community is more than happy to do that, because I think as usage increases, I think the cost should increase as well. So. Well,
and the only one thing I would like to add to that comment is that for most of our residential customers, they'll be in the lowest tier, and most of those customers will see less than $1 increase in their water rates on a monthly basis. So it's really a pretty minor increase overall when you start looking at the total bill and the utility services as a whole.
Good. Other questions, comments? Marty?
I'll make a motion if there's no other.
I think we're ready.
I'll make a motion to adopt the notice of intention to make proposed revisions to town water and wastewater rates, fees, and charges, and to set a public hearing on the proposal for the September 28th, 2017 regular council meeting by electronic vote.
I'll make a second.
We have a motion and a second. Would you set the vote, June?
And that passes, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council need not request permission in advance. Any such remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole, not to any member thereof. Such remarks shall be limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. Anyone care to make any comments? Clerk, no comments tonight? If there is no comments, then we move on to the one item that everybody hates, and that's number 11. Anyone care to make a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second.
And a second. Would you set the vote, June?
And that passes, Mayor.
And that passes. Well, thank you so much. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.